fifth episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the first week of April 2012. This episode is titled Glass Leaks. CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus. You're cloud computing experts. I'm your host, Jason Atwood, and joining me for the 85th time is the co-host and expert in all things cloud, Justin Edelstein. Justin, how are you doing this fabulous Friday morning?
You've never complimented me like that to begin a podcast.
Once every 85 times.
Feels good.
Why not?
It feels good.
We have an agenda today.
Yes, we do. As we always do.
As we always do. We have a blog post about cross-object workflows.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about some Project Glass, Google's Project Glass. We have a new SFDC cloud certification or verification. We'll talk about that for a second. And then we have some leaky notes out on the interwebs. The Summer 12 notes were leaked or partially leaked, and we'll talk about that. And then we'll wrap it up with our CloudFocus App Pick of the Week on this Good Friday.
Oh, I like how you did that.
Alrighty, so first it was your turn to blog.
It was.
What did you blog about?
I blogged about cross-object workflow rules being available in the Spring 12 release.
Spring 12. It's amazing. These releases just keep coming. We can barely keep up.
They just keep on coming.
Yep.
And I wrote a post for the administrator who manages orgs without writing code. And a nice, simple example of how a cross-object workflow rule could be used to create some really good data integrity across accounts and opportunities. So I wrote a real basic, simple explanation of what cross-object workflow means in Salesforce, and then basically walk through a scenario of having an account with a type that is set to prospect, and then having an opportunity related to that account and in the prospecting stage, so your data matches there very nicely. You have an account that's a prospect, you have an opportunity in prospecting, and then sort of walk through the rule of how to create an update on the account so that when the opportunity gets closed won, the account type changes to customer.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing, it's actually something that we wrote a trigger to do in our org, which you say in the blog post. But it's nice because that's something that before you had to actually write Dust code for, and now it's Dust configuration.
Yeah. Thank you, Bruno.
It's Good Friday.
It is.
I'm Freaky Friday.
You really are.
So anyway, yeah, go read it. It's full of great screenshots, and so you can actually see how it's done. We had some comments on it, which was nice, using Discuss, self-plug. But yeah, go to blog.arkusinc.com to read up about, the title of the post is Cross-Object Workflow in Salesforce.com. Very to the point.
Yeah.
So go check it out. It's
SEO magic.
Yeah, it's a helpful thing. So again, this is part of what we're doing to sort of make our blog both, informational, but also talk about, sort of give sort of examples of ththings. We've been doing a couple of those.
It's not so theoretical.
No
this
theoretical.
Is real.
Right.
You can do this.
You can do
today.
This. Someone actually posted, I think, saying, I didn't think this was here, and then that was good. They were happy that they saw something they didn't know existed.
And as good social enterprise that we are, we reply back to that.
Yeah,
comment.
that is true. If you post something nice on one of our blog posts, we will respond. If you don't post something nice, we'll just delete it.
We'll just delete it.
Yeah, because I can hit reply, delete, and it goes away. So that's on the blog. So head over there and take a look. Next up, Google Project Glass, which is Google does this sort of does this thing once in a while where they will release something that is more theoretical, sort of future thinking, but they'll have put a lot of time and effort into it. They're known for, a lot of their projects that we know have come up and gone away, like Google Wave, but they have also, put in a lot of R&D into sort of future things. Part of that comes from, which is interesting, because Google allows their employees to use 20% of their time on sort of outside projects. So in theory, that's basically 1 day a week that you can just go and do whatever you want, open source or crazy things. And they get a lot of their product ideas from there. But they released this video and this sort of page on their, it's called the Google Project Glass. And in essence is a wearable computer that is sort of a lens. It sits on your eye and it has augmented reality and has voice commands, and it sits on like glasses. And then as you walk along the streets, and if you watch the video, I think that's the best example. Sometimes when you try to explain something and it doesn't make any sense, but then, it's a computer in your eyeglass. It sounds so stupid. But then just if you watch the video, like, I get it. Very well said without even saying what it does. They actually do it from the point of view of the person. Yep. So it kind of looks like you're wearing this thing. And as you do your daily existence, it can tell you the weather, and it can take pictures, and it can have video, and it gives you real where up alerts, and you can have phone conversations, and you can do augmented reality of showing where a map is, and it'll, instead of looking out your phone to say take a left, you're looking, and a little take a left icon comes up because it's sort of tracking you in real time. All of this technology that we kind of have, it's sort of extending it and putting into a very small wearable piece, and then putting it so it can see, you can see it as you walk along. It's been getting a lot of buzz. Even Mark Benioff, friend of the podcast, Mark Benioff, posted on Google Plus today. I thought that was interesting. He doesn't do a lot on Google Plus, but he did, saying it was, Google's a very innovative company. What are your thoughts when you took a look? Because it's gotten a lot of buzz.
It was freaky. I watched the video, and I thought to myself, would I ever wear those ever? And then I had to think, like, ever's a long time, right. So probably, yeah, but in the next year or two, probably not. It had, a lot of the examples that it showed were predicated on the fact that other people were doing things too. Like, how far is John from me? He's 402 feet. Well, how do I know, John has to be sort of, transmitting his location. I mean, a lot of things that it showed that were really cool, good uses for it, were things that sort of meant everybody's in on it. Everybody's in on this game.
But nothing they showed wasn't technology today. So
no,
so
the only thing that they showed that wasn't technology today was the actual thing, the glasses.
Yes, but knowing someone's aware. I mean, we all use Foursquare. There's apps on Glimpse, one of my picks of the week. The app there's tons of apps that'll transmit and know where your friends are at any time. Tons and tons of them. Facebook has that now built in. Mapping.
No, what I'm saying is the technology's there. The people have to be in it.
But that was one example.
Well, there were a few examples like that.
Nothing else that was.
Well, he's standing. Well, yeah, he's standing in a store, and where are the books? And it knows exactly where the books are in the store. Oh, they're around the corner.
Right.
Well, now the store's got to be in on it, or Google's got to know exactly the layout of every store that you're ever going to step foot in. Little freaky.
I think I wouldn't have done that example. I would have done walking by a restaurant, or say, is there a restaurant in the neighborhood? Is there Thai food around me? Have it say, and then can I see a menu, and have it pull up a menu like that you can look at while you're like kind of walking towards the thing, so you could check it out, because that exists. Like Foursquare has all these menus now. Even our local restaurants around us now, all the menus are in Foursquare. So in theory, you can pull up a menu anywhere. Yelp has them too. So you just thought too futuristic?
Yeah, a little much for my.
But isn't that the whole point? Isn't that
it totally is the whole point?
The thing going and like.
Yeah, it's the whole point. I mean, I again, could I see myself wearing them now? No. Could I see myself wearing them in 2 years from now? No. Could I see myself wearing them in 10 years from now? Maybe.
Definitely.
Maybe, yeah.
If it's a thing, you'd wear it.
Well, even if it was a thing that worked, I would wear it. It's not, is it a thing? I don't care about things. Is it a thing that makes my life better?
Right. I think what I'm excited about is not, well, I think wearable computers are a very cool concept. I like the idea that there are things, and there are watches, and I think I've shown you some watches, and I I've almost bought a couple, but I haven't found the right one. But they're watches that'll connect up via Bluetooth to your phone, and then like my phone's over in the corner there. If I get a text, it would then show up on my watch in a little screen. Or having things that connect up and kind of build a bigger existence. Because you will not give up your smartphone, but if your smartphone's in your pocket and it has GPS on it and internet and weather and all that, and all it's doing is kind of displaying that up to this very lightweight kind of thing, I mean, I think that's much more doable in the near future. Yeah, I mean, I don't wear eyeglasses really, but I wear sunglasses all the time. If it were built into my sunglasses, like, sure, why not? Texts show up, I can then talk to it. Siri, I mean, it's all there. I think it's a very cool concept. We've been talking about the digital wallet for a long time. This to me is more interesting than a digital wallet because it's kind of like it's the way you interact with computers, and people are getting used to that. Again, yes, do I see myself wearing one in a moment? No, but if it were, because more of just the look of it, it looked a little bit like cyborgy.
Looked weird.
But if it were just something that looked, this is the thing though. People going around. If I took a picture of what it looks like when you look at a whole bunch of people on the street today, right? Go to Times Square, take a picture of people, and I just took a picture of all these people, and they're all sitting there staring at these little devices in their hands. And I took that back and I showed it to someone 20 years ago. I said, "Look what the future's going to look like." You're like, "What are those idiots doing?" They're all walking around staring at little screens constantly. That's what people do all day long now. They stare at little screens. And I said, "Well, how about stop staring at little screens and you can actually walk ahead and not crash into people." So I love the concept, and I love that companies are kind of taking interesting concepts and just trying to move them forward without having a market for it, because there's no market for that. I mean, there's no one. Again, you're not like, oh, I gotta have it. Apple puts out stuff that people want immediately. I like it that someone's trying to build a market and make a new technology. So I thought it was really cool. I mean, is it tomorrow? They say there's wearable ones though. They have prototypes of them, so.
I imagine they don't work very well.
Well, I disagree. I think they're all based on not that. I think they're based on their connected to a cell phone.
No, I get they're based on the phone. I will guarantee you that they don't last for... Like, if you just thought about if it existed today, the battery life of your typical phone, plus the battery life of this thing that's going to be connected to your phone and transmitting data back and forth the whole time, sitting on your head.
Bluetooth 4, it's very low power.
But the phone's got to be connected to something and pulling the not the device, the internet.
But that's your phone. Your phone does that all the time.
But if my phone's connected to the internet 100% of the time because it's always connected to this thing that's going to show me everything in front of me, I don't think the battery would last on my phone much longer than a few hours.
It's not constantly displaying. It's not like you have a stock ticker going around. They were showing you examples of when it's used. So you might be walking. It's just like your phone. You're walking down the street. It's not like it's constantly there. But if you get a text, instead of that text rattling in your pocket, the text shows up in front of you. So you saw a video of someone using it for 2.5 minutes because but that was their day. So they did 4 things in the day, and they used it when they needed directions. They used it when they were in a store. But they didn't show him walking, for the other 10 hours of the day not using it. So again, I think it's not supposed to be a thing that's constantly on like a TV set. It's supposed to be something that is used when it's needed, just like every other device. I don't know. I think you're being a little, skeptical. Like,
I guess I don't really like these things.
Why?
I find them amusing, but then the practical side of me says, yeah.
Yeah,
let's
not get you into R&D. Let's not get you into R&D anytime soon. I think it's great, fun stuff. Come up with great ideas. Can't wait. I'm in. Make it work with my iPhone, and I'll buy one as a test model. Because I think it's great. I love the idea of wearable computers. The end piece that was more interesting was they showed what the future could look like, and then they showed it based in a contact lens. Right? That's the future. Obviously, this wearable stupid thing on your head, who cares? But put into a contact lens that totally, like, no one can see, but does all that stuff, and it's just a contact lens?
Just sounds dangerous to me.
So is driving and texting, but look what everybody's doing.
I'm just saying,
cell phones are dangerous.
Driving with that thing in your eyes,
it's less dangerous.
That sounds more dangerous.
No, less dangerous.
I can control,
but they don't. People don't.
I'm talking about myself. I can control if I want to not stick my hand in my pocket, pull out my phone, look at it.
Right.
But if something pops in my face as I'm driving because it's popping in my
eye... It
eye...
doesn't pop in your face in your way. It pops in your peripheral vision.
Well, then I can't see it.
No, I think you need to go look at the video game.
I watched the video. It's something in my line of vision that...
But not in your direct line of vision. It's to
yeah,
the side.
But if something pops up to the side, I'm going to look at it.
You are the worst driver ever because any car that comes up to the left side of you, you just go, oh, what's the car?
I'm aware of the car.
You can aware of it. You can see it in your peripheral vision without turning your head.
I don't want things just popping in there.
Okay.
You and I have different opinions. It's not that I'm wrong or you're right. We differ in opinions of how cool this thing is.
You're a cranky old man.
I think it's a nice little theory. We'll see where it goes.
All right. Speaking of other closer theories that might be coming sooner, this is a quick little thing just by Salesforce saying that this is probably a Salesforce episode talking about the Salesforce Service Cloud is now Knowledge Centered Support (KCS) verified, which is really just one of these. There's all these organizations that say that certain types of things are sort of standardized. I know we were doing some research for this for a client the other day on certain types of standardizations, and this is just one of them. That was interesting. Kind of hit the internet. I'm not sure really it has any huge thing. Do you have any comments on it?
Not really. No. Honestly, I mean, okay, so somebody says you're verified as something. We already knew that Salesforce had knowledge and that it followed the KCS model. Now they're verified. Fantastic.
Best podcast ever.
Call me Mr. Grumpster
You
today.
really are. It's Good Friday.
This thing just isn't that interesting. Okay, so some consortium says that you're verified as something. Fantastic.
I think it's extremely interesting because I can see it in my Project Glass.
Whatever.
All right. So the last bit of news for the day in our cloud world is the Summer 12 release notes, or partial release notes, were leaked yesterday. We had little birds calling us. Calling us during the day, trying to get our attention to let us know that these things were leaked, which I find really interesting. That the release of release notes now is like call worthy, and so it's great to have our friend calling us up, being like, "Here's you can go get them here." So I had a chance to read them this morning. Again, it is sort of half-baked. There's huge sections that are missing.
It's only 60 pages long.
Yeah, well, it's because there's massive...
there's headers that say, insert title here.
Right.
So these are not the Summer 12 release notes.
No, this is not the Summer 12 release notes.
These are super safe harbor, leaked to the internet accidentally Summer 12 release notes that you probably could read just for fun, but know that anything in there could be yanked out.
Totally. But I think it's kind of interesting in this world of when we look at like all these products that kind of get leaked and FCC leaks and all this sort of stuff, you don't really talk about Salesforce leaking or having leaks of product information. It generally doesn't happen. Because their idea exchange and everything's sort of out there in the future, it's not like there generally just isn't leaks, because they're not building physical things, and so it's a piece of software, you can keep it under wraps. I just think it's interesting that it's getting to the point, and maybe it's just our community and hopefully our listeners who like this stuff, but that a release notes being leaked is like a big deal. So I read them over this morning. Pick a couple things that you saw that you're kind of like, ooh, I'm interested to learn more about that.
Yeah, I actually saw 3 things that piqued my interest. One is that Chatter Now is going to be generally available.
Nice.
This is all I'm saying. This is if it's going to happen.
Okay.
We let's pretend these release notes were real.
Well, yeah.
And
we gave the safe harbor.
Okay.
Don't buy stock.
Yeah.
Or the product based on this.
Yeah. Or do. Whatever your choice.
Neither Justin nor I own any stock in CRM at this moment. So, you do?
I do.
Oh,
I may.
Justin is being sued immediately after this podcast airs.
So that's that. So Chatter Now looks like it's coming.
Explain Chatter Now. For those
so that's the basically the instant messenger part of Chatter within
awareness.
Yeah, awareness, being able to see that someone's online in Salesforce, pop them a little note. More even that's real time communication,
right.
not chatter, which is sort of real time.
Yep. No, no, it's not real time at all.
Yeah.
I can't. That I'm actually excited for because we use a couple different models of real time awareness. We use IM, Instant Messenger, which we talked about the other day. We're actually using, the Google Talk version of it. We also use Google Docs, which has real time sort of presence in it when you're both in a doc. Like we're both in the agenda right now, and we can see that we're both in the doc, and you can have a communication. And you get used to it. You get used to you basically get used to knowing that someone else is with you. Someone else is next to you in the same, in the document that you're looking at. And I can see lots of opportunities, literally opportunities, that if we're looking at an opportunity and I see that you are also there, or the sales guy or whoever, that I could just go, ooh, let me ping them immediately, as opposed to jumping over to IM, like it would be inside the in the app. And I think that's very cool. I'm really looking forward to using it.
Me too.
Just for that reason, like I'm on a doc, I'm on an opportunity, I'm on something. I see someone else is on it as well. We can then have a little side conversation.
I wonder if you're gonna know that they're on that record. I think you're just gonna know that they're inside Salesforce.
Oh, you're not gonna. So yes, inside Salesforce.
And then it's like, come here.
Right. Come look at this record.
Come look at this.
Yeah.
I think that's how it'll.
I think it'll be interesting to break out how the chatter, which is a sort of preserved conversation, versus the chatter now, which is a not preserved, not conversation.
Yeah. Chatter is like persistent chat.
Right.
It's there, but it doesn't happen in real time. It's like almost like an email back and forth.
Right.
This is more ping.
Right.
Quick question.
Yep.
All right.
If you ping quick question me in chatter now, I'm going to hurt you.
Hey.
Ping.
Quick question for you. Can I ask you now?
No.
Got a second? So my next one that I saw that is a pilot that I think is super interesting and needed is separate org-wide defaults for external users. Justin,
Wow.
what does that mean?
Yeah, really.
So currently,
Get your geek on.
If you're using a portal,
I like portals.
I like portals too. Or guest users, or chatter external users, or things of that nature. You have to, and if you want to expose data to them, you have to set your org-wide defaults to private, and then create sharing rules so that you can expose data to these external users. Soon you will be alleviated. You will be able to set separate org-wide defaults for internal users and external users. Nice. So that you don't have to create this sort of fake private, internally they can be public, externally they're private.
Right.
That's sort of the game here, or the goal. So I thought that was really useful. Hopefully that becomes a true thing that comes in the actual release, as opposed to just something that's in these particular release notes that aren't going to actually be available. And the last thing I saw, which looked like it was coming as a GA thing, is something that we talked about on this very podcast, as we are in the pilot for it right now. But it looks as though many who on tasks will be generally available.
I like Many Who. We don't use it on tasks. Don't
really need to go into it because we already talked about it on a previous podcast. But it looks like it's on its way.
I saw a couple things that I was interested in. One was the chatter. They said they're going to enhance the chatter emails. And one of the things they were going to do was, in the email alert you get in the chatter, they were going to bring across more elements of what the chatter is about. They were going to simplify it, meaning take out there's a lot of stuff in that email that doesn't need to be
images.
There. Yeah, take it out. And the other one was they were going to then put in the conversation. So you could see, because right now you just get the last thing that you're mentioning. You don't get the whole conversation. This way, I think they're going to send the whole conversation. I don't know how much, if it's 500, I don't know what, but at least a couple of the pieces and more information about what's being chattered, as well as, I guess, simplifying it. So to me, that's great, because we use chatter all the time. I get chatter messages. I want that to happen. The second one that I looked at and I really was interested in is, and again, I don't know if this is going to make a big play or not, but SMS based security tokens. Yeah. So I guess it's a replacement for, not a replacement, but I guess it seemed like if you wanted to, I guess the way it is, because this works in some, like you go to log in and instead of getting something emailed to you, they'll SMS it to you. They'll send you a text message with the code, or it's another layer of security you can turn on that if someone is coming in from another, from someplace that's blocked, instead of sending them an email, do it through text. I'm not sure the way it wasn't really clear, but it's basically SMS-based sort of second auth, which, again, I think second auth is good. More auth is better, especially with the cloud, and having more layers to security is great. And then I just forgot the last one that I was excited about.
Oh, come on! You were so excited about it.
I was. It was exactly.
Did it have anything to do with permission sets?
No, did not have anything to do with permission sets. It had to do with some sort of login thing. Nope, I forgot it. It's gone.
All right,
forever.
It's gone.
Maybe I'll remember it, but
probably not.
Probably not in time for this podcast. But anyway, so you can go find it. It's out on the internet. Again, take what you will about it. Don't get too crazy. It's certainly things get pulled out. We've seen things go in and out of nodes, but it's always fun to start reading up on it just to find out what they're putting into these things nowadays. And that's it. All right, well, let's move on to the last part of our podcast on this great Friday, our CloudFocus App Pick of the Week. Do you have a pick today?
I do.
Or are you researching it right this minute?
No, I already have one. I've got one.
Oh,
It was one that you and I were playing with last week.
That I told you about.
You said, hey, you should download this, and I did.
Yeah.
This is neat.
I used it last night.
I have some pros and cons. Things I'd like to see improved about it, but first let me tell you what it is.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It's the TiVo app for iOS.
So is that Tim Tebow app?
TiVo.
Oh, TiVo.
With
TiVo.
a V.
Oh, okay.
TiVo. So
I
have a TiVo. You have a TiVo.
I do. Provided by RCN.
Provided by our cable company, RCN. And TiVo's pretty good. It's a DVR. It records things. It searches for things. Sometimes it acts up. It tries to record things on its own, which I don't like.
We turn that off.
I did.
That's a setting.
I realized that early on. It was recording like 3 things at one time, and I'm like, whoa, I can't watch TV.
Yeah, that was one of the original features of TiVo when it first came out, was that it was going to be smart, and it was going to say, hey,
it's not so smart. It's stupid.
I see you like Star Trek. I'm also going to pick up Battlestar Galactica for you.
Yeah, not a good feature. But anyway, they have a little app for the iPhone and the iPad that is essentially a remote control for your TiVo box. So the reason why it's really great is because the TiVo interface at times is a little clunky and a little slow, particularly if you want to delete a bunch of things at one time. So the TiVo app allows you to go in, browse what's on right now in a guide. You can click it. It'll change your TV channel. Kind of neat. But you can also go to your recordings and delete a bunch of recordings at one time, which is probably the most useful portion of this application because it deletes things real fast.
It's the easiest way to delete things.
Totally, because the UI on the actual box is a little clunky, a little slow. Yeah. Things that I wish it did that it doesn't do. I wish, because it connects to my TiVo inside of my Wi-Fi network in my apartment, I wish that I could connect to my box when I'm somewhere else.
Right.
It doesn't need to find, it basically finds my box on my network and says, oh, here's your box. You've already paired with it. You can do things with it. I wish if I was at your place,
right,
I could hop on to my TiVo and say, I forgot I need to record this thing tonight.
Right.
And record it. That would be the ultimate use of that application that it doesn't currently do, but I hope it will in the future. If you're listening, TiVo, that's what I want.
Yes, to be able to be somewhere else and say, I forgot something.
Yeah, I forgot to record this.
Well,
record it.
How about the big one? How about flip it, bump it, and how about be able to watch what's on my TiVo on my app?
Oh, that'd be nice too.
How about hit play?
That's 2 steps ahead.
I think that's, well, I guess it has to stream it. And
a lot of cable companies have these apps. Time Warner, Cablevision, they have these things, and they can do those things with their DVR boxes.
But they can't. They can
They're not-
watch live TV, live
can.
cable, but they cannot watch what you TiVo'd on your box. That's a difference.
Yeah, but they're still ahead.
Yeah.
They can also record things from anywhere.
Right.
Why those companies are ahead of TiVo in this space is beyond me.
Yeah.
But come on, TiVo, step it up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Great app. I love it. I love it really. I did use it last night. We were watching one show, and we were talking about another show, and I said, "Great, let me go and take that." I just went and recorded. That's what's nice. You can search for it and record something while you're watching a show without having to break into anything else. So you can kind of do it. All right. Well, my pick of the week. I almost changed this about 4 times. This is kind of it's a big release that's come out in the last couple weeks, but it is another iOS app. Wow, we're getting iOS heavy today. But anyway, it's called Paper, and it's by a company called 53 by 53. And it is an iPad app. So for you 5 or 6 people who own iPads, it is a free app. And basically what it is a sort of virtual notebook. So, it's an electronic notebook, but taken really from the concept of being like a physical piece of paper notebook. So you open it up, you have different pages in each notebook, and you have multiple notebooks in each notebook. You can sort of create your own covers. And then within them, you have different tools. And really what's cool about this, and I've seen there's tons of these things around that you can draw and drawing tools or whatever. But really what makes this so special is that the tools within them, the sort of drawing tools, are just really well built. So there's a pencil, there's a brush, there's an eraser, there's a marker, and there's and so you can there's a line, an ink, like a pen. And so you can, if I want to use a pen, I can quickly draw, and it kind of the way I do it, it'll either push harder or not, or it's just really, it feels nice. You put it on your iPad and you start to play with it, and you start to use different things, and it feels nice. You can draw on it and kind of sketch. I'm not a big drawer or sketcher.
Me neither.
But it's really nice. There's a great commercial for it where they show the guy walking around sort of for the day, taking notes and whatever. I still would love the replacement of what I can do on a whiteboard and what I can do on a piece of paper if given, and I still don't feel like it's there yet. I'm hoping someday it'll get there. But this is the closest it's ever come.
I need a big whiteboard because I can't do things small. Like for me, like the iPad's really just too small. Even paper just gets too small. So I'm not good at drawing things, so I just need bigger spaces to just muck around a little bit. And the iPad is just too small for me to get there's a lot of these jot your ideas down, idea thing.
Right.
That doesn't work for me because it's so much easier to just draw it on a whiteboard.
Right.
Because there's a marker and a surface. And then these are pick your tool and, brush style and da-da-da. And I'm like, no, I just want to draw some shapes that connect to each other and then put some words around them.
Yeah, this gets there. I mean, the other one that I don't know if I picked it or not, but OmniGraffle for the iPad has that sort of just dragging some shapes around. But again, I never feel as empowered as I do with actual piece of paper or whiteboard. So they're getting there. This is very close. It is free, but it only gives you 2 tools, and then I think you have each tool. If you want to buy different tools, costs a little bit more, 99 cents. Yeah. I actually went and bought the whole set of tools because they were sort of fun, and I actually really like playing with it. Again, I'm not, it's the best one I've had so far. Best, not note-taking, but best kind of free-form playing with tool. Anyway, it's Paper by 53 for the iOS. It's for the iPad. And that's my CloudFocus App Pick of the Week. All right, well, short episode here on the greatest Friday ever. Remember to go to blog.arkusinc.com to read up on the blog post there and any old past articles. You can comment on the blog posts there or the articles, the episodes using Discuss. We will see them. We will probably reply, which is nice. You can follow the company at Arkus Inc., twitter.com/Arkus Inc., or on facebook.com/Arkus Inc. Justin's at twitter.com/Just Edelstein. I'm at twitter.com/Jason M. Atwood. And for the podcast, remember to subscribe in iTunes or in our most favorite podcasting app so far, which is Instacast. You can subscribe in there too, which you actually don't have to do anything in iTunes. But great way, always subscribe to the podcast, because then whenever we put it out, it'll come down to you and you can listen to it and enjoy. Until next week, we'll be back with another episode of CloudFocus Weekly. But for now, and as we always say, enjoy those cloudy days.